Brian Walters again with BWA Consultants. I want to talk today about the unfortunate reality of divorce. Statistics will tell you that around 50% of marriages today end in divorce. And a very odd statistic is that the end of the holiday season going into January, in fact January is the month of the year that is most likely to have people file for divorce. Now, if you own a business and you're divorcing and you live in a community property state, the reality is that the value of that business needs to be determined because half of the value of that business goes to your spouse. A corollary to that rule is that there is a very specific concept known as personal goodwill, and your personal goodwill needs to be determined as part of that process. It's extremely important because your personal goodwill is not divisible in the case where you are splitting the value of your business with your spouse. This is very important. I want to briefly go through an example to see what that might look like. I want to stress that this is a very brief example, and my advice would be for you to contact either me or somebody like me to understand how this might apply to you in your specific situation. But let's say that you own a business that has been valued at $3.5 million. To make it simple, or to make the math simple, let's assume that $500,000 of that is hard assets, and let's say that there's $3 million in intangible assets, or in valuation parlance, goodwill. That goodwill is divided into both personal and enterprise goodwill. So two examples. Let's assume that in the first case, 20% of that goodwill is deemed as personal goodwill. The math would tell you that somewhere around $600,000 would be personal goodwill, and $2.9 million, which is 3.5 minus 600,000, would be what you'd be sharing with your spouse. On the other hand, let's assume that 80% of the goodwill of the business has been deemed to be personal goodwill. In that case, you're talking about $2.4 million that is deemed as personal goodwill, meaning that there's only $1.1 million of that $3.5 million business to be split with your spouse. Extremely important that this information be understood. Understanding and applying the concept of personal goodwill accurately will make a very big difference in terms of who gets what in the marital asset separation exercise. My advice to you would be, if you are facing a situation like this, please get in touch as soon as possible, because applying this concept properly to your specific situation can make a very big difference in the overall circumstances where you're separating the assets between you and your spouse. Let me know if you have any questions and we'll be in touch. Thank you.